So Nelly didn't know that you could be 16 and playing in the World Cup.
Yeah, it's definitely hard, but the thing is, what is it in Spain in the FIFA regulations and all that stuff? When I went to Spain at 16, they didn't let me sign until 18 because it's a FIFA regulation where you
Yeah.
have to be 18 if you're a foreigner to sign for a professional club.
Wow, that's
Oh, it was definitely hard because I had to wait 2 years until I can actually sign with the club that I wanted to sign with. So imagine just 2 years just training, playing friendly games.
hmm
It was fun. It was definitely a great experience, a good learning experience. But at the end, I just wanted to play. So it took me 2 years, 2 long and hard years to get me started playing in the league. And yeah, that's just it was a learning process, definitely.
that's
Yeah.
crazy. What was the question you asked?
Well, I think personally, right? So starting, so like for example, like Isaiah, our son, right? He's 3. So we were thinking of putting him in like football, which is like in English soccer, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, what got you or what made you got at a young age, because you're only 20, right? So for you to be so driven at that tender age, right, of 20,
Yeah.
it's for me, it's like, what made you start, or made you realize, okay, like this, was it like parents' influence, or was it like something that you were interested in?
It was definitely my own interest because ever
Okay.
since I was a young kid, I was just like I always wanted to be a soccer player when I grew up.
Mhm.
That was my dream. And I just kept following that dream. I did play other sports like basketball, wrestling, taekwondo, volleyball. I did everything, lacrosse. But the thing that really took my love for the sport was soccer.
Mhm.
So I really went like all out. I think I made a decision around 7th grade that like
Okay.
I wanted to really take it really seriously. I started getting like a professional trainer, personal trainer to do all that stuff, and that's when I started to look for more options, and that's when the scout from Levante, which is a professional club there, first division, they came and they told me, hey Ethan, like we wanna see how you can fit in with our guys over there in Spain. So I went, I tried out, and they liked what they saw, and thankfully, and
Yeah.
I was there for 4 years already. Since 16, right after 10th grade, I had to make that decision. So
Mhm.
Oh wow.
it was hard, definitely, but you know,
What made it hard?
I guess just because you want to just have fun when you're 16. You're
Yeah,
like you're
yeah, right.
16. You're gonna be living alone in like a whole different country where they don't even speak your language.
That's true.
They speak very little English there, like very little, and like how like just the whole process of being like, oh, am I gonna be alone there? I want to have these high school experiences. I want to be a
Mhm.
senior. I want to do all that stuff. But
Yeah, absolutely.
at the end, I was more thinking about, is it gonna be worth it, or like what's here in New York for me?
Right,
I
right.
mean, I got my friends, I got all that stuff, but at the end, like that just brings you so far. I wanted to do something bigger, in a
Right.
sense, in my life. So that's why I was like, screw it. Like I have to go to Spain. There's opportunity. You gotta take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, to make that decision at 16.
I think that's I don't know if I would have made that decision,
It was
honestly.
hard, definitely.
But you had a support system, right? A
My
huge.
parents.
So they were the ones that encouraged you to make that decision, or you made it on your own and then.
I think it was both. My parents, my mom, you know how she is. She was like, whatever you want to do, Ethan, and she's always supportive no matter what. My dad was more like, dude, this could be a real opportunity. And I was like, yeah, like it really could. And he's been supporting me. He's been going to all my games since I was literally 5 years old. He's been there for the whole process. So to to maybe see me go pro, that was like, he was like, oh shit, like, I can say my son's a professional soccer player. Like
Yeah,
I guess that was his drive too, and my drive was like being able to let him say that. Being able to let him say that my son is,
that's what's up.
that's what I want to do. I wanted to, give back a little bit, but at the same time, I guess it was my drive, and then him just like just kind of securing it for me, being able to make sure that I'm gonna be okay there,
hmm
and just giving me that security, kind of, because at the when I had 2 weeks to decide if I'm gonna go or not. So
Right.
it was like that, and I got a crap ton of anxiety. I got a lot of stuff going on in my head. I was like thinking like, do I want to do this? Do I not? Like, what's going on? Do I want to be a senior? Want to have a normal life? Like, and just continue in my high school, or just literally drop out and go to a foreign country and play.
Yeah.
So that was where like my dad was like, dude, like I think this could be something. But I'm so happy that he pushed me a little bit to do that, because I wouldn't have traded for the world, honestly.
Right,
The best
right,
thing
right,
I ever
right,
did in
right.
my life. The best, the best option I ever took. The best opportunity I ever took.
That's what's up. See,
Yeah.
that's why I like Ethan. You know what I mean? Welcome back to It Starts Now, the happy hour of finance and business. Once again, my name is Stan Lane, and I would like to thank everybody for tuning in. We have a phenomenal guest that's in the studio today, and we have some wonderful people that came in and showed us some love, and we were grateful for the opportunity to have a conversation with them. But today I'm super excited because, this is the first time I have the opportunity to speak with a future Hall of Fame, in my opinion. My guy, Ethan. Ethan, welcome to the show.
What's up? How you doing, man?
What's going on, brother?
Nothing much.
Yeah. So, let's give a little story.
Mm-hmm.
Not too much,
All right.
because we're gonna get into it, right?
Yeah, we'll get into it.
But just introduce yourself. What team you're with currently, and what's your goals for the future? What is it that you're planning?
Sounds good.
All right.
All right, so my name is Ethan Kim. I'm an athlete, entrepreneur, and a model. I'm doing a little modeling over there too. And yeah, so I've been living in Spain for the past 4 years. This is my 5th year living in Spain right now. And right after 16, after 10th grade, I dropped out of high school and pursued my dream of becoming a professional soccer player. And and Levante UD was the team that recruited me over, which was a first division professional team. So I was very excited by that opportunity. 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
And now you just came from LA.
I just came from LA, did some trials over there for the second team, Los Dos. And it was exciting. I'm gonna get a call back today to see what's good, but we'll see. We'll see. Can't say too much about that.
No. We're not gonna talk about too much about that. And then you have a company.
Yes.
Yeah, you recently launched.
Recently launched in mid-October, late October, I'll say. It's called Wims, Wolf Innovation Management Sports, and I'll get to the name part after. I'll let you know about that. There's a story behind it, but yeah, we do. What is it? We represent entities, and an entity could be literally anything. What we want to do is we want to connect the whole world of football, and as in football I mean soccer, by the way, but the whole world of soccer. So if we can connect them through a new company, a new startup business with a platform, or a new startup business with new technological, innovational materials, like GPSs, like plates, like all that stuff. We want to be able to connect one part of the world with the another part of the world through a company. So we represent that company, and we're just connecting the whole world of soccer.
And that's with sponsorship, or it doesn't?
It's not with sponsorship. It's more with partnerships. What we do is we sign a partnership with that company to be able to legally represent them. And since me and my partner have a lot of connections all across the world, literally I think I played just by playing soccer. I've played with about, I think, 80% of whole Latin America, like Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, Panama, Mexico, Venezuela, Colombia, like all these countries. I have people that I've played with there, that are still playing, maybe even professional. They have connections there, and that's just why through those connections I thought, like, I can make a business out of this. I can be able to connect this whole world together and just bring the European technological innovational world to the US or to Latin America, and vice versa, and everywhere, in Asia too. And Asia's a huge market, so it's all looking very interesting, honestly.
Yeah. No, congratulations on the launch. In this term, I'm just going to use soccer, right? If that's okay with you. I recently got into it more this year, like this because of the World Cup. Right? Everybody has so much pride into the games.
Yeah, especially if they're playing for their country.
Right.
That's when they'll go all out. I feel like Gareth Bale, for example, he's a Wales player. He's been playing. He actually retired right now, but last team he was playing for was LA. But before that, he's been in Tottenham, Real Madrid. Like, great, amazing player. But you see him like play for Wales, and he's a complete different player. He goes all out, And you see him playing for the club, and he's still an amazing player. But you see the drive and the fire in him when he plays for Wales, And that's where I think the beautiful game comes from. Soccer, the beautiful game. Every country in the world is playing this game. It's not super huge in the U.S., but
Hmm.
it's getting there, and it's the biggest sport in the world, 100%.
Actually, they opened up a stadium not too far from here. I believe in 2026 or 2028,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna have a full soccer stadium um, across from the Mets.
Okay,
Yeah, I think it's.
for
I'm
New
not
York
sure.
maybe for an NYCFC, maybe it could be for
Mm,
that. Yeah, no, that's huge because honestly, like the industry is just getting that much bigger, and especially now in the U.S., the U.S. is just a huge market for everything. So
when did you realize that was the connection for you? Like that was the passion?
for what my business part or
No,
for the
no, no, for
soccer?
the soccer.
Ever since I was little, I just wanted to play soccer. I played since I was 5 years old, and my dad was there every single game, every single practice. He was always there for me and just supporting me, both my parents. But what really got me into it was when it just clicked for me because I was always a great practice player, but in the games I didn't show up when I was little. And then one time arrived the moment when I was like 8. My coach was like, "Dude, stop being a wuss." Like he took me. He was like, "Stop being a wuss and shoot the damn ball." And I
Mm,
was like, "Okay." Shot it literally from like 40 yards out, goal, another goal. And I just kept from that moment. I was just like, okay, like I can do this. And I started going, and literally maybe like scored like 2 goals every game, hat trick sometimes. Like it was. That's when I really found like my passion, and love for the sport because one coach told me,
stop being a wuss.
yeah, stop being a wuss, like shoot the damn ball,
Uh,
and like you're good, but you're not showing it. Like let's go.
how did he know that? Because of practice.
Because of practice, he sees me. He knows like I'm an athlete, like
Mm,
where I'm athletic. I'm a person that runs fast. I can play the ball well, and I played a lot of sports in my lifetime. So he was like, dude, like you're good, but you're like, what are you doing? Like
mm,
let's go. He told me like instead of saying pussy, he was
hmm.
like, stop being a wuss. I was 8,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
stop being a wuss and shoot the damn ball. I was like, okay, that's Coach Rich, and also Coach Leon. He's been my first coach for a long time. He also inspired me a lot. He
Mhm.
was he was hard on me and in a good way, by the way, and thank you for that. And we've been family friends for a very long time. His son's actually my age, and we're buddies for life, honestly.
Oh,
So, thanks for soccer. It just that's just my life.
Once you got into it, how did you figure out that you could play at that level?
I think around 13 and 14 is where I really started to peak and I really started to make like good goals and like get a lot of people's attention. So like whenever I played a game, always the opposite the opposite coach would
Hmm.
would come up to me after the game. The ref would come up to me, all the players would come up to me like, dude, like good stuff. And like the refs and coach would be like, why are you playing for this little town team? Like I don't understand it. I used to play for Oyster Bay and for like Syosset, and they would come up to me. They're like, dude, why are you in such a small club? Like you're a good player. You can actually like get out and play for an academy team, maybe somewhere else. And I just never gave too much thought into it until it just clicked and I was like, I gotta get out. I gotta do something. And that's when I started to look for more options. And yeah. I actually started to look for a college option, to play in college. And from there, came the option to go abroad,
Yeah.
to go to
Now you
Spain.
you went abroad. How did that feel like? Because you're all alone now.
Oh yeah, it was
Like, did you get homesick? Like, what was that connection?
dude, because now everything is on social media. So like you see like your friends' Snapchat stories, your friends' Instagram stories, a post, and you're like, damn, I'm getting a lot of FOMO right now. Like I want to be
Yeah.
with them. I was 16 when I left. Right after 10th grade, I dropped out. I later got my GED. I was a naturally like smart kid.
Yeah.
So I figured out like I have to get my education okay. At least
Hmm.
my high school.
You're right.
But but yeah, so I was doing that, and I would get so much FOMO, fear of missing out. And yeah, I got very homesick. But at the end, like that just makes you that much stronger. That makes you that much mentally stronger, and you see the sacrifices you're doing, not just like for their friendships and for like the stories and all like the memories you're making with your friends, but also like you have to eat well, you have to take care of your body, you can't go out, you can't drink, you can't do this, that, and whatever. There's like a lot of things that go into it, but that just makes it that much worth it at the end.
Mm.
So that's what I'm just grateful for that, honestly.
Who did you lean on though during those times?
A lot of my friends in Spain that I met. So when I was in Levante, there was a lot of foreigners too,
Mm.
and I've met, as I told you, a lot of people from Latin America, but also from Europe. You know, also from Serbia, from Italy, from Germany, and a lot of people from Asia too. And you know, I through that process, I got to meet a lot of people and to be able to trust on them because they're in the same situation as me. They're
Right.
16, they're 17, they're going through this alone. We're there for each other. So they became my family. We were all living in a house together, like literally 15 kids in a house, like doing everything together. Going out together to the city, seeing Valencia, seeing everything, and they were definitely my support on everything. And I, vice versa, I was their support, and it was a good thing going on, definitely.
No, no, I like that. I like because you always need that emotional support, especially when you like miles and miles away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely, because it's a hard thing, but at the end, it just made me mature, as a person.
Mature faster.
It was a very good thing on my part. I think I matured a lot. I'm only 20, and I feel like I'm already doing things. I'm already thinking about the future and what I want to do and what I want to perspire. And I feel like a lot of my friends nowadays, or a lot of people that I know, don't even know what they want to do yet.
Mm-hmm.
And just being put in a situation where it's like you gotta learn the language. You gotta meet friends. You gotta
Yeah.
see your options. Doing that just like woke me up, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Made me be aware, and I want to talk about being aware more on, but just aware of every situation, of everything I'm in, and that made me grow up like fast.
Right, right,
That made
right.
me grow up fast. So
Let's talk about awareness.
yeah. So what is it with being aware? A lot of people ask me like, oh, like you dropped out of high school. Like, how was that? You're not going to go to college, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to college, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm past that already.
For now.
For now.
Right,
But
right.
I genuinely think that I won't go to college because I already know what I want to do in my life, and I feel like um, I don't need a college degree or that kind of education to do that,
Mm-hmm.
because through what I'm doing right now is, I'm doing what I told you. I'm an athlete right now, a entrepreneur and a model, and also I want to get into the restaurant business later on. Later on.
Mm.
So for that stuff, obviously you need very good education on everything. But in today's world, there's courses available. There's platforms. There's YouTube. That's literally a free learning
It's
source
an institution
for
right there.
everything. And the internet, obviously there's credibility and there's not, but you gotta do some research on yourself to find that out. But honestly, all that stuff is just me being aware and understanding, what do I want to do? Am I aware of what I want to do, my passions? Am I aware of how to get there? Am I aware of the path that I have to take? Am I aware of the education I need or the education I don't need? I feel like successful people are always aware of
Mm.
everything, because if they're not aware, they're not going to be successful at the end of the day.
Right,
You
right.
cannot be successful if you don't understand where you are, what you're doing, and how you're going to get there.
Mm-hmm.
In today's world, it's very you just got to be proactive.
Yeah.
So being aware is definitely something that I've learned going abroad in Spain at a very young age, but it's something that sparked, just like the activity of myself being proactive and just going for all the opportunities I need to go for,
Right.
at the moment. So
When you say awareness, are you referring with self-awareness of knowing who you are and your capabilities, or are you referring to awareness in sense of, all right, I know if I make X amount of moves, these are the outcomes.
it's definitely both, because you have to know yourself. You have to know what you like and what your advantages are as a person, and what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. You're not going to go in a field where you're not good at math. You're not going to go into finance. You know what I mean? Or you're not
Mm.
good at something. You're not going to go in that field. So the thing is, like, if you're personally aware of yourself and what you're good at and what you want to, aspire as an adult, as a person later on, that's the first step, obviously. I think, finding out what you want to do in life. Apart from that, being aware of the whole institution, about the whole world, is a totally different scenario, where I got like a little glimpse of it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still 20, I'm still young. Obviously I got a lot of stuff to learn, and a lot of you know people that's gonna mess me over, definitely. But that's, I got a decent amount of it so far. and you just got to be aware of the people you meet, who to trust, and just the institution, the whole field of where you're going into. You know, you're not going to go blindly into a field that you don't know what the outcome is going to be. You got to know the negatives and you got to know the positives of everything. So just being able to be aware of the situation and of yourself is, I think, the best way to become successful in any person, you know, any day and age.
No, I agree 100%. The self-awareness, I think, is really key, because then you can really assess yourself to see, am I capable? Do I have the skill set to at least achieve this, right? And what am I lacking for me to go ahead and add to it, right? So that way I can achieve this task. But having that sense of awareness, situation awareness, if I decide to do this, or let me read my surroundings to see if this makes sense for me, right? Because your surroundings can determine if your move is going to be successful, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
So you got to take a look at everything.
Yeah.
So I agree.
You know what they say about the friends, you know, like you gotta see who you're surrounded with. You know, you don't want to end up bad. Like all your friends really, take an influence on who you're gonna be in your life. You know, you don't want to be surrounded with people who just go out partying every day and every night and they don't do anything. You know, that's just gonna bring you down as a person, as in your future and everything. So being surrounded by people who have a good outlook on life and understand like what it is to become successful, I think that's something very important. Just choose your friends wisely. Definitely.
Yeah, no. Like for you to be 20 right now, right?
Yeah, I'm 20.
And for you to have that insight, I think is like remarkable. Like, because when 20 years old, you're looking at, well, this has been my childhood friend for a long time.
Yeah.
But you don't really assess the people around you because you're too busy in emotion, right?
100%.
So when your emotional IQ goes up and you start to realize, okay, I can still appreciate this friend, but that doesn't mean I have to be attached to that person.
Yeah, 100%. Like, friends for life are friends for life. At the end of the day, you have to see who you're spending the majority of your time with, And, I learned that firsthand in Spain because I left all my friends technically, I kind of went to another country. I went there and I was like, when I come back, I'll see who my real friends are. Or when I'm there, the people who are texting me, who are checking up on me, who are seeing how I'm doing, that's my real friends, And when I come back, I'll see who's around, and that was like a real eye opener, because I was a popular kid in high school, like I got around. It was definitely fun, but your high school friends, you know what I mean. There's groups. There's a group of kids that are your real friends, and there's like that whole big group that just hangs around just to hang around.
Yeah,
so.
And absence will definitely reveal that, because the more absent you are, they say, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
So, but your real friends, even if you're absent, they start to check up on you. They say, hey, everything okay?
Yeah.
How you doing? Things
just
like
hitting
that.
you up, and just being there. Or even if we don't hit up, like, that was, I guess, more in the beginning of the stage, when, like, my first 2 years of being abroad in Spain, where they would check up on me, I would check up on them, how they're doing and all that stuff. Later on, it kind of started fading away because I knew that those guys were my real buddies, And when I come back, they're going to be there for me.
Right.
And the people who didn't check up on me on the first 2 years, they're just like, it's all right. We're bros, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, I'm not going to invite you to my wedding. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to, that's what I'm thinking. So, yeah, I got my boys for life, definitely. So.
No, that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
I like that. Before we transition into talk about the business aspect of it, I want to know, when you first got abroad and you started to play with different athletes, did you get like starstruck, or there's anybody that you admired and you seen in person, or anybody that you felt that this is the way they are on TV, but then when you got to know them, completely different? It
was definitely a crazy experience because, Levante was our first division club. Right now they're in the second division. They're going to go up because they're first division again. But so they've been in the first division for a long, long time. So they've been playing against Real Madrid, Barcelona, all these teams in La Liga, and Sevilla, like all these huge teams. And honestly, like that, being able to go to those games, because if you're a youth academy player in those clubs, they give you free season tickets. So I would go to every single home game, and I would see Messi play. I would see, like De Jong, Dembele, like all these players that were like my idols. I would see them play. Suarez was there back in Barcelona those days. I would see all these players just like play right in front of me. I was like, holy shit. I have a picture with Ter Stegen, which he's a German goalie. He's playing for Barcelona. I think he's the best in the world, honestly. But I have a picture with him. He was a little mad because we beat them, which is insane because Levante is, Barcelona's Barcelona. You know what I mean?
Barcelona, yeah.
But yeah, just seeing those players come out. Messi gave me a thumbs up, So when Messi, like my childhood like hero, like he gave me a thumbs up, like I was like, damn, like because I had the Argentinian flag. I was like, let's go, Messi. And he was like I don't know, just like being appreciative of I guess everything, just being him. I think is hard enough, just because like you're a superstar, you can't walk around anywhere, you have that private life. But yeah, I've definitely seen the lives of a lot of players, a lot of professionals, and it was a good experience, honestly.
That's what's up, man. Are you familiar with Ted Lasso?
It rings a bell.
The character Daddy Rojas always says football is life. Is that something you can relate to?
Football isn't soccer.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. And I learned this from my mentor, Diego Muller. He's actually a very good. He's someone who's close to me. He's kind of like a part of family, And he's taught me a lot in the field of business, but also in like the field of life, just in general. And he's taught me something where like, soccer is life, football is life, And I'd be like, what do you mean, And he'll just be like, what position you play, I was like, center attacking midfielder. And he was like, okay, like why? I was like, I don't know, because I like it. And right there, he just told me, you're wrong. It's not because you like it. There's something subconscious in your mind that makes you pick a position, that makes you, for your, your qualities as a person, to be in that position, and that goes for life too. So I've asked a lot of players, a lot of people, like, what do you play? Like, what position do you play? They've never played football in their life or soccer in their life. I'd ask a girl, what do you want to play? Like, or if you played soccer, if you would have played soccer, like, what position would have you played?
Right.
And they told me, like, defense. I'm like, why? No, I just chose it. That's bullshit. You didn't just choose it. There's something subconscious in your mind.
Stems from somewhere.
Exactly. That's making you pick that decision for something. And then she studies education. She's going to be a teacher. And the teachers are the base of education in the world. They're the base where, you just start growing and growing. So the defense is where you start growing the ball and you start playing up from there. It starts from the base,
Right.
And that's where I guess it kind of connects with what you're studying, who you are as a person, and what you aspire to be. Because football is that, there's positions for a reason. You have to be in a specific place, for a reason, for your qualities as a person. There's a girl that told me she wanted to be, and I do this with girls because they normally, there's a lot of girls that play soccer, but, a lot of them don't, and like there's like, oh, they just pick a random position.
Right.
You're not picking a random position.
Yeah, right.
You're picking that for a reason. She told me she wanted to be the top goal scorer in the world, if she were to be a soccer player. And then I was like, okay, and I said why again, and I told her subconsciously all that stuff, and she later on told me she wanted to have an office in New York City, like looking abroad, like all the other offices, being the boss of everything, and that's just being the top goal scorer. You want to be the boss, you're going to be there, you're going to be Cristiano Ronaldo, that's who you're going to be, So it's like that. It's kind of like, it's all connected in some sort of way, and it's kind of hard to explain, but I think you get the gist of it.
No, I definitely do. And I definitely agree. Everything stems from somewhere.
Yeah.
Which book it was. There was a young girl started playing tennis, and she had a backhand like Serena Williams.
Oh, yeah.
And people couldn't understand where did she get it from. Meanwhile, her parents used to watch the tennis games, and she used to sit in the background just listening, right? Observing through her subconscious. It was mimicking, everything. Right? Yeah. She was mimicking it inside, not realizing that when she started to play, she actually took on the traits of Serena Williams. So everything stems from somewhere. We just may not be aware of it, like what we talked about.
Yeah.
But it stems from something, and there is a connection. Just like some people that their fathers were always constantly working, and then when they go up in life, they realize, oh, I'm constantly working. Not realizing they got that from that simulation or that form of simulation from their parents, right?
Yeah.
From always constantly working.
Yeah.
So everything stems from somewhere, and I agree with that. But I do want to add this, though. I think that football players say football is life. I heard Kobe Bryant say something like that too, like basketball is life.
Yeah.
Is it depending on the athlete and the sport that you're in, you're always going to reference that sport to life?
I feel
because
like
it has some kind of principles in there.
I feel like it has a lot to do with discipline, because without discipline you're not going to be successful. I think without self-discipline you can't really um, you know, go out there and get what you need to get done because you won't arrive there. You know what I mean? Without being able to say, I'm gonna wake up at this time, train at this time, like Kobe, you were saying, he woke up at like 4 a.m. Trained 4 times a day, like crazy. He's an
Hmm.
animal.
Hmm.
I can't do that. Like I'd break. You know what I mean? But he was literally an animal,
Yeah,
and
Mamba.
that's the Mamba mentality. You know what I mean? So his self discipline was so strong. That's why he's recognized as one of the best players in the world. And even if it wasn't for basketball, it would have been something totally different either way, because that mentality, that self-discipline is a way of life, and I feel like nowadays a lot of people say like, oh, like basketball's life, soccer's life, volleyball's life, or whatever is life,
Hmm.
because that's how they were recognized as a person. Like for me, I was recognized as a soccer player my whole life. That's who I was.
Hmm.
That's how I was identified as. So in that one aspect, that's what I say, like soccer is like my life, because that's who I was my
Hmm.
whole life. But the other part is like through the self-discipline, through all the values that the sport gives you, because there's self-discipline. You have to understand you learn so many life lessons just with people screwing you over, coaches screwing you over, agents, all that stuff. So you learn a lot in just that. It's not just soccer,
Right.
it's much bigger than that. Or it's
Yeah.
not just basketball, it's much
Much
bigger than
bigger than
that.
I think that a lot of us don't make the connection that actually sports is business.
Yeah.
And in business there's a lot of cutthroats, and there's a lot of like shady business that
Wow,
goes
there's a
on.
lot of stuff.
So, and I think we don't see that part, and we don't make the connection because all we see is the athlete
Playing,
or
yeah.
playing, or doing our favorite athlete doing that move, that patent move, or they scoring, whatever it is. We admire that, but forget the fact that it's still a business, and there's business things that go on.
Oh, 100%. There's a lot of business with agents and with the presidents of the clubs, the directors, all the members of the board and all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see. A lot of
Right.
politics, and it sucks. I feel like that's definitely one of the worst parts of the game, because it kind of like kills your dream as a player a little bit, because it just makes it that much unfair. If you don't have a great agent, you're not going to make it. If you don't have connections, you're not going to make it. If you don't have this, you're not going to make it. So that's like, that's
Regardless of your talent.
regardless of your talent. I've seen people that are million times better than me, that haven't made it just because they weren't in the correct situation. They didn't know the correct people. They didn't know, etc. And they didn't make it because it's just how it is. Even if you're better than their player, if that player has an agent that's very well known, has connections with the club, has connections with the president, has connections with etc. in the club, he's untouchable. Like you're not gonna take his spot, even if you're better. You're not gonna take it.
Right.
If you're not Messi, I'm sorry, you're out of there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like Messi is a totally different story. But if you're not Messi, you're not taking no one's spot if they're secured. Unless you have that for yourself.
Mm.
So that's where I learned. I had a pretty bad experience this start of the season with that. I had some agents, helping me around, trying to get me some contracts with some, third, second division teams, and I was gonna get my house paid for. I was gonna get, a nice monthly payment and all that stuff. And they sent me over a contract to sign with them for 2 years, the agency, so they can represent me. And my grandma passed away actually in around early October, and I had to go back. So when I went back, what happened? It just they just like stopped everything. I went to my grandma's funeral, came back, and they were like, hey, yeah, we're not continuing with you. It's not happening. I was like, why is it? It's just not happening. Whatever. Just like that, out of nowhere. I had everything, and then I had nothing. They were gonna find me. They have the power to find me that team, that club, the perfect fit, the money, the house getting paid, everything, and out of nowhere, preseason's already started. We're done. Sorry, there's no more contract, because they didn't sign the contract on their part. They just sent it to me for me to sign. So it's it's a very ugly world too at the same time, although it's beautiful at the same time.
Mm.
And there's a lot of things that go through all the stuff that's that's just unfair, you know?
Yeah. Before we get to the questions from the audience, I want to ask something because what you said, you shared to me that, and I know that story happens to a lot of people,
Yeah,
right?
happens a lot.
So one thing I've learned is that the deal is never done until everything is signed on the paper, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Until everything is signed and completed, the deal is never done. And but I also know sometimes when things don't happen that way, something better ends up coming along, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Because that's just how life works, right? So when the one door closes, another opportunity ends up down the line. And sometimes it's better than that opportunity, or sometimes it has a potential to be better than
Yeah,
the next thing.
100%. I
Yeah.
think at the end of the day, it's just that everything happens for a reason, you
Yeah.
know? So just understanding that and just believing in that, I just go with the flow, kind of, you know?
Yeah.
I'm very proactive. I do my things on my own, and I do look for things to do. But if something happens that just takes my legs out, you know, I'm just like, it had to happen. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right.
It had
Yeah,
to
it's part
happen,
of the process.
but you got to go. You got to keep going. You know, you
Mhm.
can't stop here. You got to keep going. So when they just take my legs, I'm just like, fuck, like that sucks. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But you can't dwell on that. You're
Mhm.
not gonna get anywhere if you keep on dwelling on stuff like that. So that's where I learned, like, all right, so what can I do from now? Like, where can I go from now? Where can I go from here? So, you know, it's definitely something that I truly believe in. Everything happens for a reason. And yeah, as you said, like, I'm still perspiring to be a professional soccer player. I'm still doing that, but also, you know, I got my business that's
Mhm.
going on right now, and I do have like a lot of my intention in that. And you know, I do have the modeling thing. So, you know, if soccer doesn't work out, which I truly hope that it does work out, for any agents that are looking at this, you know,
Mhm.
sign me. But if that doesn't go as planned, you know, I got two big things and a third one, a
Yeah,
restaurant that are definitely
yeah.
in play.
I look at Dwayne Johnson's story, The Rock.
Mm,
You know, his first intentions was to play football.
yeah.
Then he got cut from football. Had nothing left. Then he decided to go into wrestling.
Hmm.
And then from there, he just took off. And now look at his empire. He got $1 billion empire.
Yeah, no, he's
So
huge.
things do happen for a reason, and I just think that you just gotta go with the path.
Yeah,
Just follow the
100%.
path and trust it. But before we switch over, I'm dying to hear the story of the name
Oh,
for the company. How
okay.
did you get that?
Okay, so the name is Wims, right?
Mhm.
It's a abbreviation for Wolf Innovation Management Sports, right? So that's it's such a broad name, right? Like, what could that be? Kind of, you hear that name, you're just like, what is that? But it's where we're as I said, we're connecting the whole world of football, you know. And I actually went to this huge networking event in Sevilla, Spain, and in that event, there was a lot of technological innovational companies that were, you know, showing their products. There was a lot of, you know, very big teams like Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid, you know, Sevilla, Valencia, huge teams there, and the directors of those teams, very important people that I've gotten to meet. You know, I got their business cards. We were keeping in contact and all that stuff, and just me going through that. Um, and I went to that. Sorry, I'm gonna get into this a little bit. I went to that event because Diego Muller, my mentor,
Mhm.
he started a company called Loads, which is a huge it's gonna be a huge company. I really think it's gonna be the biggest soccer football platform in the world. Like in a couple of years, it's huge. Um, but he brought me over. He told me, Ethan, like 2 days before, he told me, Ethan, there's an event coming up in Sevilla. Do you want to come? I was like, what kind of event? You know, he goes like, so it's a, you know, an event. You're just gonna represent my company basically, you know, and you're gonna learn about my company. You're gonna represent it, talk to the people about it, and try to find people who are interested in the company, you know, clubs and all that stuff. So I said, screw it, like let's go, you know, why not?
Mhm.
So I literally, you know, went with his partners in the business. His partners were in Valencia, thankfully, you know, so I got a ride with them. 7 hour car ride all the way down to Sevilla. And I learned everything about the company in 7 hours. And it's a huge company that does a million things, but it's so, you know, important in the football world. They do a whole integration process through all the parts of football, you know, the GPS is video analysis, the datas of the games. They're working in big data. They've been working for 7 years, analyzing all the big data of all the clubs in the world, making a ranking of all the clubs in the world so that they can make an opportunity map of it's just this huge thing. And they're also, what they do is they generate income for clubs, through NFTs, through licenses. So it sounds complicated, it's really not, but to understand that whole thing and to be able to get in a way to sell it, that was hard, but I wanted it, I wanted to know about it. They were telling me and I was like, okay, I understand it. But then,
How can you sell it?
I had questions
Mm-hmm.
that definitely the people that I will sell it to will have the same question. So I asked those questions, 7-hour car ride felt like an hour because I was boom, 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 keeping asking. And I literally learned the whole thing, like the whole company in 7 hours. We got there at around 10 p.m. We ate dinner with the whole team, still talking about the company. Went back to the hotel around 12, stayed up until 3 o'clock in the morning, just reviewing, revising, writing out things, how to propose it, how to sell it, the best ways to think about what are the best points about this company. And then from there, I went to sleep for literally, until 7 a.m. So I had 4 hours of sleep. And it was an event, a whole day event, 12 hours, 8 to 8. And I was just going and going and going, and I wouldn't stop, So they told me, like, what are you, like, you seem like the Wolf of Wall Street, So that's where I was like, I like that Wolf of Wall Street. So I kept going, and I felt literally like Jordan Belfort, like going off and saying like, hey, Glows, this and that, like going up to people, like shaking their hands, saying like, hey, nice to meet you. I would love to talk about Glows if you have a moment of your time. Yeah, sure. Talk about NFTs and all that stuff. It grasped their attention. And me just like being able to do it so lightly, I guess, so easily in that field, it just made me feel like, holy shit, like this could be something I could be good at, And then everyone on the team started calling me Wolf. And then that's where the name Wolf Innovation Management Sports comes from, Wims. So that's what we did. So we're representing Glows as an official partner. We also have Scarab as an official partner, Levante, and EFP Academy, and there's 4 and 5 more big companies that we're still working on that for legal reasons I can't say the names. I would love to, but yeah, that's like kind of the story where we're working at right now.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, I like that. So any questions?
This first question, or one of many, being 16, being American, being North Asian, right? Do you think that was a different impact when you went to Madrid, in a foreign country where a lot of people speak Spanish, right? It's like Portuguese or Spanish. Did you feel like, well, I don't know, I'm curious. Like, did you feel like you felt isolated, or did you gravitate more to like someone that resembled you, or that was more like, I'm comfortable, or did they welcome you being a foreigner, right? Because right now we're stepping into different soils, right? So you're the foreigner.
Yeah.
So how was that feeling for being someone so young? Because you're not with your parents, you're not with your brother, you're not with your friends. Yeah. Like, what was that feeling? And what was it like, or how long did it take for you to kind of like grasp that and just be like, okay, you know what? This is my scenario, or how do I make friends? That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, it was definitely, I guess, it was a little difficult in the beginning. Obviously, there's racism in every country in the world. It always goes on, no matter what happens. But at the end of the day, I was always kind of like that Asian kid here in New York. I was like, oh, like, he's cool, whatever. He's like, he's chill. And I would hang around with Asians. I would hang around with white people, with Hispanic people, with Black people, with all, and I always had friends in everything, So that's what helped me out a little bit going into Spain, because when I went to Spain, like, obviously, like, I got like looks from people, like me not being able to speak Spanish, like this and that. It was very difficult, obviously, in the beginning, but that's what drove me to learn Spanish that much more, to try that much harder, to not have an American accent when I speak Spanish, like gracias, quiero, I hate that, Y pues ahora hablo así, un poquito más español y tal, ¿sabes? And now I have like a Spanish accent, and I say Valencia with that and all that stuff. So I do have like more of a Spanish accent now, and I don't resemble that American part of me, but I always do have pride of being American and being Korean,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, also being from New York helped a lot
Yeah.
because New York is New York. I
The
would go
melting
out.
pot.
I would go out, and I think New York might be the only state where people from the U.S. say they're not from the U.S. They're from New York.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't go like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
from the U.S. No, I'm
Yeah.
from New York.
Right,
Like that's their own
right,
country.
right.
So I go there. They're like, where are you from? Like, oh, I'm from New York, and they're like, no. I'm like, yeah, what's the big deal? Like, because I've been living here my whole life. But to them, that's like, all the movies were shot there. All like the Christmas, Rockefeller Center. Like, no
Yeah.
way. Like, that's
Times
like,
Square.
yeah. But
Yeah.
that's like what I'm used to. You know what I mean? So me being from there was like, it helped me a lot. You know what I mean? Just like being able to, have them say like, oh wow, that's dope.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, I took the Spanish classes more seriously. I did take Spanish classes, 4 hours every day.
Was it mandatory? Did you have a curriculum? That's what I wanted to know.
It was mandatory for what is it called? To have the visa, because you have to have 4 hours every day, 20 hours a week, and you would have to do that to get the student visa in Spain. So I would do that. I would go to class, and it was necessary because I didn't know how to speak Spanish. I learned here a little bit, but the normal things you learn in 8th, 7th, I don't know, grade class, which is like not too much, And literally when I got there, I was like, yo, I know Spanish, And I didn't know I knew nothing, dude. People were like, I was like, dude, like, what are you saying, bro? So that's when I started taking Spanish a lot seriously, and just for, I guess, fitting in more, because I don't like to like, I like to stand out, but in a good way, I don't want people to not like exile me, but like kind of like put me away just because like I'm different or whatever. So I like to fit in, and just being able to work hard to get my accent down, to get my terms down, my language, that helped me a lot to make Spanish friends that are from Spain, and to now have friends for life there. I really do feel like I have friends for life, and I do make friends very easily there. You know me. I'm a person that connects well with people, that can formulate a relationship very, very easily.
Yeah.
So that's what it just helped me a lot. Everything. Through the, like, I guess, racism, but not like total racism, but like kind of like just being a little different. Looking different, speaking differently, and going to a place. I just wanted to fit in. So I tried hard to fit in. Obviously, I'm still myself. I'm a clown.
I don't.
But,
I don't think you try hard. I think you have this easygoing personality.
yeah.
All right. So it's like the moment you start talking, it's like, oh, this guy's like, yeah, it's
Chill,
cool.
right?
He's chill, right? And it vibrates off your body. So like some people try hard, and you can see like they're
can
not
see when they
comfortable.
try.
Yeah. But it's just a natural vibe, and it radiates off your body, because when we talking, it's just like, then
Yeah,
this
it just
dude is
goes,
cool. Like, yeah, it flows.
It's
like
not cut, you know what I
Right,
mean? It
right,
just
right,
keeps
right.
going. So that's actually what Diego Muller, my mentor, he saw in me, as a very young person. I met him when I was 18, 19. And he was like, okay, like I see this guy that's very easygoing. He connects with people well. He's been telling me which like hypes me up a little bit. He was like, like I was born to shine, kind of, and that's actually my Korean name, to be bright. Is actually the meaning
that's
of my
what's up.
Korean name.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's all like connected in some
Yeah.
type of way. But he told me like I'm gonna bring you to Sevilla to this event because I see this in you. Otherwise I wouldn't bring you at all because I wouldn't care.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
he told me like, I think, I can show you this world of business, and your networking skills are very good at a young age. So I'm just gonna throw you in the ball pit, see what happens. So
And look what happened.
yeah, it's good. I'm thankful for everything. As we were talking about before, everything happens for a reason. So he called me for a reason, and I went there, and I didn't have anything in that specific day for a reason. So I'm happy.
Yeah. No, that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
And you like I said, easy to connect with, easy to and then the thing is, like, some people, we have a conversation with, and it's not that they give you their word, right? And some people just got to follow up with a few times because you feel like, let me double check, let me make sure.
Yeah.
With you, I've never gotten that. I just
Oh,
like
really?
you. Once you give your word, it's like, oh,
Yeah,
he's
because
good.
honestly, I've been surrounded by good people my whole life. You know, my mom, you guys know her. You know,
Mm.
I think she has very good morals, and my parents, my family, they educated me very well in everything. So, you know, just being a good person and following through with what you have to do is just like a main principle in my life. I feel like so. Also being surrounded by people like Diego Muller, which
Mm.
is he's a great person too. And my dad is a great person. They just all help me, set me straight. You know what I mean? They're
Mm.
like those were my kind of role models in my life. My parents, my grandma, which she passed, but she always told me to be happy and to always smile and you know she could always go worse. She could always be worse, and that's truly what I learned in Spain. But just grasping all that stuff just made me be able to be straight with people. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
I'm gonna be straight with you. Like, I'm gonna tell you what I can do and what I can't do, and I'm gonna go through with what I can do. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
that's
definitely
what's
that.
up, man.
I also want to know, just curious, when you say like, okay, for example, like you're saying like there's people that's trying to kind of like get you or put you down or stuff like that with like coaches or like contracts and stuff like that. Like, is it, are you making those decisions or like is your parents helping you make the decisions, or like how do you know that something bad just happened or is happening or about to happen? Like, you know what I mean? Like based on what you're saying.
They kind of like screw you over after. You know what I mean? It seems like all sunshines and rainbows. Like I've had agents telling me like I'm gonna bring you to this team. I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
say a team, but they're like good teams. So I get my hopes up. You know, and they say like first division in this country or second division in this country, third division in Spain, whatever. And I get my hopes up. Because they talk a lot.
Yeah. Well, they trying
They're
to
they're
keep you.
bullshit artists. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's what they do. Like that's what my dad says. All the time. But that's what they do. They talk a lot, and some follow up and some just don't.
Mm.
So just learning not to get my hopes up, I guess, was something very big, because after you just don't know how it's gonna end up. They can
Yeah.
really screw you over.
So basically, until you have a contract, don't get your hopes up.
Exactly,
Right?
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Nothing's like you said. Nothing's said unless you sign it.
Unless you
Yeah.
People can talk. People
People
can
can-
give your word.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like if they screw you over after, like okay, you're sad like for a day, and then like he's fine, but I'm still fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's just like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's messed up.
I've learned a long time ago that nothing is concrete until everything is. And sometimes even when it's on contract,
Contract.
you still gotta be monitor the person's behavior because. And it's not to be negative; it's just to be cautious, so that way you don't get screwed. Everybody's gonna get screwed over somehow,
Yeah.
right? But it's how much and can you bounce back from it, right?
Yeah.
But somebody's gonna get the better end of the stick, right? You try to go for a win-win situation,
Obviously.
but sometimes it doesn't work out that way because some people's intentions are wrong. They go in on the win-win situation, but then they
Yeah.
start to do other things when
Yeah.
money gets involved. Your best bet to always be conscious of who you're dealing with, and always like my thing is I don't go by words, I go by actions. You can say a million things, but if your actions do not equate to the words, and a lot of times when we, in hindsight, I don't want to say a lot of times, right? Frequently, when we go back in hindsight, there were a lot of red flags. We just choose to ignore those red flags, right?
Because it looked so beautiful.
Because it
Yeah,
looks-
like, yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, because they sold you a dream.
Yeah.
But the red flag has always been there, and it's been numerous red flags, but we choose to avoid them because we're looking at the bigger picture. We're looking at the
The end
flower,
goal.
the end
Yeah.
goal, the garden.
Exactly.
And the thing is, there's so many things that's going on.
Okay, so I guess the question would be how to get to pro, right? Or how to get to pro level. Or okay, two things. One, if you could recall back, because I know you were a kid, the steps that a parent or someone like us as an audience, what we could do for our kids, if we want them to get to that level, or how we can get someone again to go abroad, study abroad. And two, what is your daily routine at where you are right now?
Okay, so basically, what is it? To be able to play at a professional level out in Spain or wherever you are, you have to have a good level where you are in the moment. You have to be shining in that area. So in the US, you have to be one of the best, obviously. And being one of the best means, getting into like one of those MLS academy teams, the youth teams, which is called MLS Next League right now. And those teams, they're gonna develop you well. You know, they'll develop you well technically. Tactically, I think it's a different story. That's more in Spain and Europe. I think there's the tactics in Europe is way better than the U.S. Obviously, you know, you just see it through the competitions, the World Cups, and all this stuff. But you know, technically, they're very technically well players in the U.S. And you know, being in one of those leagues like the MLS Next League, like the youth and the MLS teams nowadays, that's gonna help you a lot. You know, that's gonna help you bring up your competition, bring up your level, and it's gonna get you seen. You know, in the U.S. So from there, there's a lot of paths to take, but being able to have a stable ground first is, you know, priority is key. And then from there, you can either go abroad, you can go to college, you can do, you know, even go homegrown straight to MLS. And I feel like that's the whole process where you have to have an agent, you have to have people you know, you have to have contacts and the right people to bring your child or your buddy or whoever you're bringing over, you know, over there, because it's a hard world, you know. If you don't have someone who knows someone, it's definitely hard, you know. So getting seen, getting called by agents, you know, getting that love call from agents and from teams is something that is definitely very important. And someone who can advise you like an agent, that's a good agent, you know, because there's a lot of bad agents in today's age. But someone who can advise you, who can bring you to the right paths, and who can open doors for you, that's the key. You need an agent, a good agent, if you want to really make it out. There's very few people who don't make it out, who makes it out without an agent, you know. Very, very few people. And once you just keep going higher and higher, you know, they negotiate your contract for you. They negotiate everything, you know, your living terms, your playing terms, your everything, you know. And that's where you need someone to fight for you, you know. You need that agent with, you know, his background, with his credibility behind him to be able to say, like, I want this player to get this X amount of money, X amount of playing time, X amount of things, you know, I don't know, a bonus for every goal scorer, bonus for every assist. You know, you need a person to fight for you, because when you go by yourself to a directive, to a club, they don't take you seriously. I was just another kid who wants to play, you know. But if you have someone good that has good credibility behind himself to fight for you, that's where you can really, you know, go out and make it. But it's hard. It's less than 1% makes it out pro. You know, it's a horrible percentage, but that's why it's just getting more competitive every year. You know, but if you want, you have to start off young, and you know, being in a European environment at a young age is a very good step. And if you have a European passport, I need a European passport. That's what I need, you know. But if you have a European passport, I'm pretty sure you can sign under the age of 18, which is great. So if my father were Spanish or whatever, and I had a, you know, European passport, citizenship, I could have signed at 16, you know, when I first went there, which would have been great. But until then, you gotta wait until 18, unless the FIFA rule changes. Please change it. But that's how it is, you know. So it's hard, but that's like, I guess, the main route of how to go through things. And my daily schedule in Spain, when I first got there, it was a lot, you know. Like I would wake up in the morning around around like 7:30ish, you know, and then, you know, eat breakfast, go to school 8:15, do my 4 hours of Spanish, come back, eat lunch, go straight to training, and then the day will be over, you know. And it was like that every single day. The second year it got more intense, kind of. So I was still doing the classes, but I also had morning trainings. So I had morning trainings, afternoon trainings twice a day, every day of the week, a game on the weekend. That killed me, you know. Genuinely killed me. So I do recommend just doing like maybe one field training a day. Maybe like in the morning you can do like some like muscle, like some gym works out, but you know, definitely 2 trainings on the field is a lot. It's a little overpowering. And in professional academies, they only do 1 training a day. Normally, if you're on the better teams, the higher teams, like the second team, the best youth team, you will train in the morning, and you have all afternoon off, kind of. So you train in the morning, either do schoolwork or all your other stuff, in the afternoon, and some gym workout. So like I would always recommend doing like one gym workout, one field workout with your team, obviously, and then just eating right, doing all that stuff, and yeah, but you also have to understand like how can I control all that weight, because you're not going to do hypertrophy a day before the game, or crazy workout for like I don't know, chest and tris like right before the game, because that exhausts you, So it's recommended 48 hours before a game you don't do hypertrophy, and you go into that game fresh, So there's a lot of things that I've learned, in the physical aspect and like my body aspect through physical trainers, through professionals that I've learned and I've taken into Impact, where now I live alone and I have to do that for myself. No one's looking out for me anymore, So I have to go to a gym by myself. I have to know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, recover well, train well, go to the game well. I do that all by myself. So that's just through a whole learning process that I've learned through the coaches I've met, which were amazing coaches from Levante, from everywhere, great PFs, which will be physical trainers, and all that stuff. So it's a very complete schedule. I mean, being a professional athlete is definitely a full-time job, because you have to take care of yourself. You have to know what you're doing, and it's not just like you can just like sit around and do whatever the whole day. You have to be active and understand when to use your energy and when not to. But that's what it is. It's a full day, definitely.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's intense. It's a
Intense.
long day.
Gotta
And
get
then
some good sleep.
how many days? Like 5 days a week, 6 days? Do you have
Yeah,
like
like normally
rest
now,
days?
yeah. So there's in like professional clubs, like in some international academies, sometimes they go crazy. They don't take the rest day well, and they just want to train, train, train. And I think that's not a good way to look at it, because you're just gonna burn out. You know what I mean? I burned out before because I was training so much. And some people can take it, but every person is different. Their biological, their genes are different. So you can take that or you can't take that. You know what I mean? So in international academies, like they train every day, maybe like twice a day, which is insane. One rest day, maybe a Saturday or Sunday, which is, I think it's too much. But now like professional academies, professional clubs, their youth teams train 4 times a week, and they play one game on the weekend. So normally a Tuesday or a Wednesday they have off. They go Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, for example, game on Saturday or Sunday, and that's how they do. Obviously, Friday is not too hard. Friday is light work, but it's that whole process of knowing what you have to do, and I feel like that's the best way. 4-day trainings during the week, 1-day game, and yeah, obviously do your upper body, keep your maintain your form and all that stuff. And yeah, I think that's the best way.
Ethan, does the agency give you a diet that you have to follow, or
That's more like the club kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, so the club they probably have their own nutritionist. My club had their own nutritionist. They had their own physical therapist, their doctor, like a little doctor in just their office, and they have like this whole physical therapy room and a gym and a nutritionist. So they have all that stuff. In a professional club, they'll provide that for you, like they'll say like you need to eat this at this time, you need to eat this at this time, and it varies for every person. And they check your weight, they check your body fat, so they like pinch you and so they pinch you and they see how many millimeters your
Body
pinch is,
fat, yeah.
and they pinch you here, and the calf, in the tricep, and on the bicep, and that calculates your percent fat. So they do that, and if you go over a limit, they kind of like sometimes they like fine you.
you get fined?
Wow.
Yeah, it's like stupid fines though. You know what I mean? We call it multas,
Uh-huh.
where like if you're late to train, you get fined. If you're over the percent, you get fined. If you're kick a ball while the coach is talking, you get fined. But they're like small fines though. Obviously in pro leagues they'll be bigger. But they're stupid fines. But at the end of the day, like it goes towards our dinner, or like our I don't know, our like goodbye, like goodbye
But
dinner.
it still gives you like discipline though.
Exactly, yeah. Like you're not gonna if you start juggling the ball while the coach is speaking, he's gonna be, what are you doing, $10. Yeah, like right there. So put him on the list, $10. And there's a guy, the captain, who takes notes and who puts like multa 10 euros, you know, $10 for kicking the ball,
Wow.
you know, or you come late like $5, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You come late to training, $5, come late to the games, $5, like, and that adds up, you know. So we actually made this joke where there was this one guy who played in PSG, and it came to Levante after, and he got so many fines where he paid for like the whole drone. Like that was like the joke, you know, like that we made. So yeah,
That's great. Tell
yeah.
us some more about the
So
business and the projects that you're working on.
you know, as I said, like that this business just created out of Sevilla after I went to that event, that networking event, which I met a lot of people and I met a lot of potential partners in the future, you know. So I made this company because we wanted to officially represent Glodes, which is Diego Muller's company,
Mm-hmm.
the income generator for the clubs, which is, you know, amazing. Literally, it has all these NFTs and all the integration process of, you know, all the parts of football like the GPS, etc. The first in the world to have all of this integration process. Um, but we wanted to represent them officially, so we had to, you know, set up a business and do that. But we didn't just want to, you know, just put ourselves in just one aspect, you know, in just one business, just to represent them. You know, I didn't want to do that. Obviously, they're going to be huge, and you know, I'm grateful to be a part of that, official partner of that. But we made that name so broad where we could do anything. You know, we can represent other companies, we can represent other teams, other clubs, players who want to go abroad to Spain. We can do anything, and that's what Wims is about. We connect the whole world of football in any way possible, not just limiting ourselves to one aspect, to one company, but you know, putting Glodes with Scarab, with Levante, with this, with EFP in Canada, with all these countries in Latin America, with all the countries in Europe and Asia, you know, and we're just connecting that whole world. So that's what we want to do. And you know, there's a lot of companies, start a lot of startup businesses that don't have connections to go into the Asian market, that don't have connections to go into the Latin American or the US market, the Canadian market, the European market. So what we do is we, you know, we make that easier for them. You know, we do that work for them. We bring them and we connect them to new markets around the world for them to be able to, you know, grow and expand their business even bigger. And that's, you know, potentially what we do.
That's
You
what's
know,
up.
yeah.
What's the end goal though?
The end goal, I guess, would be to be recognized as one of the best, I guess, representation companies in the world. You know, to be able to really have a grasp full of contacts, full of networks, to keep on thinking of new ways to connect this world of
Mm-hmm.
football. Because I feel like, you know, even though it is connected, it's still, there's a lot of more connecting to do, in a way. So, you know, being able to connect one country with another that would never connect ever, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but being able to do that through football, through soccer, through a company, through a platform, through technological, innovational materials, like
Mm-hmm.
that's what we want to do. We want to
So is
connect that.
that more like your competitive edge? That's your differentiator?
Yeah, I guess that's what drives me to do that, because just being able to, you know, say like, oh, like we did this, you know, and like we connected these two because of this.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes me kind of, yeah, it kind of drives me. You know, there's a lot of projects coming up soon. We have, you know, like we connected Levante with a team in Mexico. You know, so we're that's where the entity comes in, because an entity could be anything. It could be a
Mm-hmm.
platform, it could be a club, it could be a person, it could be anything. So when we say we represent entities, is that we represent anything. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so we were representing a Levante, a professional club, to connect with a market in Mexico, which they're not in. They're in Latin America. They're in Panama, they're in Colombia, in Venezuela, and a lot of these places, but they're not in Mexico. And I had that Mexican contact to be able to connect these two to affiliate. So, you know, bringing that together, they're just expanding more as a club, you know, into, I think they have around affiliations with 30 plus countries in the world. So we want to just expand that more. So that's one partner that we have. You know, another partner I told you is Glodes, which
Mm-hmm.
is going to literally affect the whole world of football. I truly believe that, because we're creating an income that they don't have in today's day and age. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they don't have an income. Obviously, they do have an income from the three big ways of income, which is our match day, like the merchandise, you know, the buying the tickets, all that stuff, broadcasting on TV, and the buying and selling of players. So we're implementing another way of creating an income. You know,
Mhm.
we're generating a new source of income through licenses, through NFTs, you know. And I'll get into the NFTs a little bit because, you know, NFTs sound like it's complicated, but it's not too complicated, you know what I mean? So we're making NFTs of players that are using loads, and by doing that, by making that NFT, we're creating a direct income towards the club, and we're letting any person, any able person, to be able to buy an NFT of that player. You're kind of betting on that player. You're kind of saying like, oh, I think he's gonna make it. You know,
Mhm.
he's 16, he's 15, he's playing amazing. He's gonna make it. So I'm gonna put my money on him. I'm betting on him. I'm buying his NFT, and that goes directly to the club. And through that way, we're generating a new income, and we're generating a new interest of the sport, because you know nowadays betting is huge,
Mhm.
and betting is what's going to bring more people into the game also, but also be able to financialize that player, you know, so the club doesn't have an expense. So we're taking away a club's expense, giving them a new income, and having more interest in that game, you know. So it's
Okay.
this whole thing.
Is this like a utility based or software based?
It's software based.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Or both also. It's like there's, you know, we're connecting the hardware with the software too, with the, you know, through the GPSs, through the cameras, through all that stuff, and you know, through all the datas with the APIs
Mhm.
of like Phoenix in Spain, which is like the database. And you know, if we have the getting the APIs for all the leagues in the world to be able to integrate that data into our
Mhm.
platform, so it's instantaneous, you know, like you don't have to go into 5 platforms at once, you know what I mean? Like loads permits using only one platform, which in today's world, every club uses about 5 or 6 platforms.
Mhm.
And they use one for video analysis, one for um, GPS, one for the data of the players, the data of the games, the management of the whole team. That's 5 platforms right
Mhm.
there, you know, and that's average for every club. So we're taking all those 5 platforms and making them into one, because we're integrating that data into one, you know?
Right. But it's still
So
the same functionalities. You just combining the two.
exactly.
Okay.
But we're making new data as we're doing that. Because by combining video analysis with GPS, you can see at what point of time that he scored the goal, at what velocity he was going,
Mhm.
how he was going into it, and you can see, you can calculate the efficiency of that player. You know,
Mhm.
we're creating a whole new data called efficiency. You know,
Mhm.
and that's something that you can only do, you know, through Glodes and some other platforms that are, you know, combining these two. But with that, we're combining the whole management of the whole thing. You know, we're
Okay.
working with the cloud right now, like, you know, iCloud.
Mhm.
So anywhere, any person that has access to this, to the documents that they need, will have that at any time and any moment in
Right.
time. You know,
Right.
they don't need their own computer that has all the stuff downloaded. They don't need their phone that has all the stuff downloaded. They can go to a third party, you know, like hardware, like a computer at a library, and just log in and literally see that documentation because it's coming from the cloud, you know?
Mhm.
So that facilitates and that easy makes it so much easier for all directors that are probably traveling all across the world, doing business all across the world, to reach documents, documentations, and information about what's going on in the club instantaneously. You know, they don't need to use text, they don't need to use WhatsApp, they don't need to use Instagram. All that stuff is in Glows. So within everything, you can see your player rating.
Mhm.
Um, you can see all the games played. You can see the video analysis of all the games. You can see the GPS works. You can see how to manage your club better through the documentation, through you know, integrating communication within one platform
Mhm.
using the cloud. You know, so it's not just I need to bring this laptop because if I don't, I'm not gonna have the information. No, you'll have it because it's all in loads.
And
You
it's
know.
easy to retrieve.
Yes,
Okay.
100%.
So you're strictly B2B. You're not dealing with customers. You're just strictly the clubs.
I'm entity to entity, you
Yeah.
know, but I also, you know, that can mean, you know, people and other, you know, other management or other agents too,
Okay.
because this could be, we're open to anyone, you know,
Mm.
and I truly believe that there's, I'm not gonna say no competition, but I feel like,
But you're early. You're early in
yeah,
the field.
yeah, but I want to go more into where it's not competition. I don't look at people as competition. I look at them as ways to complement my business, you
Hmm.
know? Because you see competition, you see enemy, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? And that means like it's either you against another person
Yeah, but
or
but
another entity.
competition could be good too,
It
because
could be,
still sharpens steel.
yeah, 100%. But I believe that, you know, a company or any company could find a way to complement my business, you know,
Mhm.
or like, you know, if they're good at something and I'm not good at that, you know, we can find a way to work together where they can
Okay.
complement, where we can
Okay.
complement each other, you know, and just
Mm.
create ourselves bigger, you know.
Okay. So your platform enables you to collaborate with other entities
Yes.
and still provide that service for the B2Bs.
Yeah. So our that there's two different things. There's the platform, which is Glodes, which
Mm-hmm.
is a company I'm representing, and there's my company, the representation company, which represents Glodes, Scarab, Levante, EFP, Mifra, all these companies that are around. So we're centralized, you know, obviously, and then we have our attention in all these companies and finding ways to connect them to another part of the world or this to that. You know, we're connecting one company called Mifra, which
Mm-hmm.
is like a coaching course for in Spain that has you know, places in Madrid, Valencia, Zaragoza, and Sevilla. And we're connecting them to Canada. Why? Because you know, Canada doesn't have the best coaching staff. They don't have the best coaching knowledge. So we want to bring them there while also doing a Spanish clinic with professional coaches. You know, so they're learning. The kids are learning how to play Spanish football, playing a Spanish soccer. At the same time, the coaches are also learning. You know, because you know, I feel like a coach can never stop learning
Mm-hmm.
how to be better.
Mm-hmm.
So we're bringing them over and we're connecting them. You know, so I'm just trying to find a world like as I was saying before, just to be able to connect one world, one part to the other. You know, Spain to Canada
Mm-hmm.
to I don't know, Belgium to Spain. You know, for example, the Scarab company is from Belgium, and we're connecting them. We're doing an event in Spain actually in late April. We're trying to figure out something to host an event where all these clubs can come in and try out their products. And Wims, we're gonna host that event. We're gonna do all that stuff for them. So, like I was saying, it's all just connecting one entity to the other, one place to another place. You know, being able to connect them to a new market that they're not currently in.
Mm-hmm.
And another big project that we're hopefully gonna do is with a big company which I can't say yet.
Yeah.
You know, but they're a huge lighting company, official partners of Manchester City. You know, and we want to bring them over to Latin America more and to be able to innovate their stadiums in Latin America. And as you know, there's a U17 World Cup in Peru, and my partner is actually from Peru. His grandfather was the president of the federation, so we have a lot of connections there, and that's just our way of also connecting, you know, Asia because they're a Chinese company to Latin America to Peru. So, like I was saying before, we're just
Yeah.
connecting. We're going around,
Yeah,
and that's our business. We're connecting business. We represent entities, entity to entity, and all we want to do is just connect one world to the other, one country to the other, through a company, through a platform, through a product, through whatever, you know. And that's our business model, connecting the whole world together, going
that's
beyond what's
what's up, man.
expected.
No,
So yeah, yeah,
I love that.
that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that. How can we support you? How can the general public support you?
I guess knowing more knowledge about what we do, definitely, you know, following with social media. I got LinkedIn with the company. We have a website already built up. We have everything going on. So, you know, if you can put it up here or whatever.
Yeah, we'll put it up.
Wims.es is the Instagram,
Hmm.
and you know, Wims.es is also the website and all that stuff, and you guys can reach us from there if you guys need help or are a club looking for a new technological advancement in the world of football, a new platform, a new area where you guys want to expand more, reach out to professional clubs in Spain. You know, we could do that. You know, that's what we do. So, and Glodes is a huge platform where you know, there's opportunity for investments. There's opportunity for any clubs that are, you know, that want a whole integration process, only use one platform. We do all the work. It's completely free, by the way, but that's where our business model comes in. It's free, but if they want to generate income, they have to sell their licenses to the parents, to the fans, to etc. You know, to the partners of the thing. So they have to sell that, and that's how we generate that income. Well, we'll do the free. The team can use a platform for free, but once they want to start generating income, that's where we also generate income. You know, that's our plan. So that's our business plan. It's a great idea. It's a great plan, and if we have every club in the world, which is hard, but if you have every country, every club in the world, we want to go global. That's our idea. We want to kind of exchange out all of the platforms, not exchange out, but integrate their platforms with ours, so that we can work together and we can grow, together. And yeah, that's what we do. So if there's obviously a space for investments, as I was saying before, where they can invest in the company, in Glodes, and just any club that would want to be in contact with us, any federation, any agents, anything, we could definitely figure out something to do with Glodes, because Glodes is going to be huge. And apart from that, if you have any other things that you guys are interested in, any any new technological innovations, like in the world of football, that we're connecting with companies on a day-to-day basis. If you are a company that wants to go out internationally, that wants to connect globally with other countries, we can also do that here at Wims. We're day-to-day thinking of new ways to connect countries, our partners with new countries, with new markets around the world. So that's what we do, just day-to-day thinking about that.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah. All
My
right.
guy, thank you for coming through.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
No,
It's been great.
just a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I've been blabbing,
Nah.
I've
It's
been
all good
blabbing,
stuff.
but,
all good stuff.
But yeah,
All right, guys.
thank you for the opportunity, man.
Nah,
Honestly.
always.
Everything's an opportunity here in life.
Always, man. Please don't forget to, please say it one more time, but they can reach you.
Yeah, on Instagram, LinkedIn, the website, and my email, and we'll put that all up. Yeah.
You'll put everything up.
All right, sounds good.
And please don't forget to subscribe, like, and I definitely took a lot of information. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment, or you can email him directly, or
Sounds good.
reach out on his Instagram. This has been amazing information that was shared with us today. We had a great time speaking with you.
Thank you.
And man,
I had a great time too, honestly.
yeah, we took
I'm
a
coming
lot
back,
of
hey,
stuff.
by the way, I'm coming back.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely, because I think there's more that we need to touch on. But yes, don't forget to subscribe at It Starts Now, Happy Hour Finance and Business. It's been a great time. And check us out on all social media platforms. We're definitely there. And please support Ethan and what he has going on. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Hi, guys.
Yeah.